Hi, welcome back to another YouTube vlog thing. This time it is a flash fiction story. Okay, hopefully from if you've seen the sort of title card thing, I forgot what they're called, thumbnail. No, it's not really a thumbnail, but yeah, you know that sort of splash screeny thing. You'll see it is from my sci-fi collection, The First Flash of Hope, and it's called The Girl with the Fan. Now, unlike my usual stories, it's a bit of a love story. So I hope it's not too jarring. There is a twist at the end, obviously. But I hope it's not too jarring as I'm not really into that romance, lovey stuff. I've been told I don't have a romantic bone in my body. Anyway, I'll get on with reading the flash fiction story, The Girl with the Fan. And remember, if you look in the sort of details down below, there's a link to the actual whole collection, which is currently on Wattpad. And all the other flash fiction sci-fi stories I've written there. So, here we go. This is The Girl with the Fan. I saw her every day as I travelled to work. Our morning routines matched. Like kindred spirits, we always did the same thing. Chose the same seat, picked up the same breakfast. Hers a coffee, no milk. Mine a croissant and milky tea. Every day I read the news on my tablet, sneaking peeks at her beauty across the hover train. She had a book on her device, holding it in one hand while grasping a white fan covered in pink blossom flowers in the other, shielding her face from the world. Sometimes she looked up and over at me, a smile playing across our faces. I was never a brave man, never making the first move unless there was a high probability of success. For months I knew her only as the girl with the fan. For months my heart beat faster when I saw her. For months my friends told me to pluck up the courage and talk to her. I remember the fateful day when I took their advice, when I decided to change my life forever. A day like any other, thick fog matted the skies of Manchester, threatening to disgorge rain on us. Maybe it was the fact the day was so miserable that getting rejected would just meld into the mood, as if being told no on a sunny day was somehow harder to accept. I'd seen 100 romantic movies. I knew what I was supposed to do. Check if the seat was taken, sit next to her, ask about her book, start a conversation that led to laughter about how we had seen each other for months but never talked. Is anyone sitting there? I mumbled. Her piercing blue eyes stared into mine. I thought I could faint right there. The butterflies fluttered in my belly. I felt dizzy. I never read romance novels, but if I had, I would expect it to be like this. The corners of her mouth turned up. Her eyes widened and she lowered her fan. No, she answered. I could never gauge people's intentions. She paused before taking the... I could never gauge people's intentions, so paused before taking the dusty burgundy seat. I had not expected to shake so much, thinking getting here was the hardest part. However, making meaningful conversation appeared more difficult. After a brief silence, she returned to her e-book and occasionally glanced at me. Finally, I gathered the courage to speak. What are you, reading? It may not have been the most original line, but did the job. I can't recall what she told me, not the name of the book or the genre. We moved on to joke about how we had observed each other many times but not spoken. She told me her name, Masuyo, and that she worked in a shop in the city that sold funky Japanese models and toys. Although she was of Japanese descent, she was born and bred in Manchester and had a thick northern accent. I explained I worked for a law firm dealing in companies that committed fraud. I did not go into details, but I stated I was in a long drawn-out case about an international tech company that hid money in offshore places to avoid paying tax. I thought that would make me look intelligent. We chatted all the way to her stop. As she left, she said we would talk again the next day. That meeting went better. We exchanged numbers. I could not hide my smile at work, and, as is the norm in Britain, got light jokes sent my way. It became clear I had met a woman, so I told a few of my friends at the office about Masuyo. Life seemed good. Everything better when, later that night, I messaged Masuyo and got an instant response. We arranged to meet up for lunch on the weekend, but would talk on the commute to work the next 2 days. I could not sleep, such was my excitement. The next day, and the one after that, we chatted away on the train, our mouths aching from smiles pasted across our faces. I was so into her, and felt the same energy back. I struggled to sleep the next 2 nights, but the adrenaline got me through. Finally, the day of our date came. I settled came. As usual, for someone smitten, I struggled to choose the right outfit or the correct cologne. I settled on something smart casual. When I got to the restaurant, Masuya stood waiting for me, wearing a low-cut floral dress. I did not think she could look any more beautiful, but she had managed it. The date was better than expected. We had so much in common. We laughed, we smiled, we grinned like Cheshire cats. All too soon, the time came to leave. Being ever the gentleman, I paid the bill and offered to walk Masuya home, or at least to the train station. She asked if I wanted to come back to hers. I did not hesitate to accept. I will not lie, we kissed all the way back to hers. It felt so right. Could this be the woman I would marry? Everything seemed better, the sun hotter, the light brighter, the smells of the city sweeter. When we got to her flat, she let me in. I walked in a few steps, then turned around, feeling confused. There's nothing here. The room was bare, no paint on the walls, no furniture to be seen. Masuya just smiled and said, "Zandkorp says hello." My brow furrowed. I had not told her the name of the tech company. My throat tightened as her hand grasped it. Everything faded to black. When I awoke, I looked down at the room, some floating spectre. There lay my lifeless body, and, sitting in the corner, plugged into the mains, was Masuya, her eyes flashing red. And there we go. That is The Girl with the Fan. Like I say, there is a sci-fi element. I added a hover training for one, and obviously the end, the sort of fact, if you haven't worked out, which you probably have, that she's a robot and been sent from Zandkorp to sort of end his interests from his law firm, whichever way you say it. But yeah, hopefully the love bits worked. Like I say, I'm not a big lovey-dovey person. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to comment, both positive and negative. Feel free to like and subscribe. I think that's what people say on these videos. Well, I know it is. At the end of the day, I do this for fun as a bit of a hobby, and therefore it's great to have people's support. But if I don't, it's not the end of the world. I doubt some professional publishing company is going to see this and go, "Oh, we want him, he's amazing." Largely because I'm not, and largely because I haven't got that great outreach. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Like I said, if you want any more of my flash fiction, especially sci-fi stuff, look at the link below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.